Welcome to the Awakened Business Masterclass. We host this every month as a way for our community to invest in anybody and everybody who really is a conscious leader, healer, or coach so that we can help you boost your credibility. That's a number one desire. And simultaneously increase your visibility so that if you can reach more people with the message that you have of love, healing, transformation, and awakening, then that lights me up. That lights our team up to bring more of that love, healing, transformation, and awakening to our world. So I'll go ahead and share my screen with you and we'll get started. Tonight, we're diving into maximize your media spotlight, how to turn your magazine cover, podcast appearance, published article, or co-authored book into increased credibility and visibility. I should have done this masterclass about, 9-10 months ago when we launched Awakened Magazine. I have found that people that come and be a part of our community, and we help them by creating branded content, by being featured on the cover and articles and all this good stuff, that oftentimes that I actually was surprised by what they didn't do with the content, that how they didn't maximize it. And I realized, oh, well, how could I expect someone to do something if I haven't necessarily trained them to do it? And so tonight's education time is not only for those individuals who are part of the Awakened community, but really anybody who has done something, whether it's, you've published a book or all these things that we talked about, published articles, anything that you've created and or been featured in, how to maximize that. And that's my desire for you. And if you don't know, there is no pitch coming at the end. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just educating you tonight. And so please don't be like waiting for that at some point. So the first thing I want to just draw to your attention is we're talking about if you've been featured on a magazine cover, published an article in an online publication, anything other than your own website. If you've been interviewed on a podcast, if you've co-authored or authored a book, if you were quoted or profiled in an online publication in some way, and if you appeared as a guest on a virtual summit. Okay, these are all the things that we're talking about tonight. And why does media matter? Well, first of all, media matters because media, whenever you're profiled in the media, it can equal credibility and connection. So credibility, meaning that there's this boost in, oh, wow, okay, Marlu was featured in a podcast. All right, so she's got something going on. Or she was on a magazine cover. It's this boost of credibility that people take notice. They see you in a different light. They see you as having more influence, that you matter in some way, like you're a leader because you've been featured in the media. And there's connection. All right. You have an opportunity for people to feel connected to you because they see your face or they read what you have to say or hear what you have to say. So there's a sense of connection to you. It's also third-party validation that builds instant trust. When people are featured in Awakened Magazine, that's our goal, is that people would just trust them a little bit more quickly to say yes to something as simple as downloading a lead magnet or booking a free consultation call. That extra, even in our day, somebody to give us their email, that requires trust. For someone to book a 15-minute conversation, that requires trust because they feel like, oh, am I going to get hammered like on this hardcore sales call, when you are validated by being featured in media and people get to know you, it builds more of that trust instantaneously. Also, it increases perceived authority. It makes it easier for ideal clients to say yes because they're already pre-sold, so to speak, on who you are. It's increasing that know, like, and trust factor. And so that's why being featured in the media really matters, but not only being featured in the media, but actually maximizing it, really amplifying whatever you've been featured in. It also creates content that you can repurpose endlessly. You can create new things out of the media attention. You could just reshare it in not just once, but on and on and on throughout the years. So this is why Obviously, I'm passionate about media because I believe it can help you build trust, build credibility, and increase visibility. All right. So, some of the most common mistakes that I find when I work with individuals that we feature in Awaken Magazine, the first is people feeling self conscious or embarrassed. Like, oh, well, I want to be spiritual and I don't want to promote myself too much. I have that with people all the time. I was on a call today with a potential individual to be featured in the magazine. Well, I just don't like to promote myself too much. And, it's like, okay, well, we live in a culture that if you don't promote yourself, you actually won't have much of an opportunity to serve people or to ultimately then receive financial compensation for the amazing work that you do. And so and I wish it wasn't the case, you guys, I wish you could just, hang up a sign and say, and that's promotion, obviously, if you hang up a sign, but, people just flock to you and they would receive your incredible service and also give an energy exchange in the process. I wish that was the case, but we live in a culture where there is a barrage of messages day in and day out. And if you want to serve people with your awesome gifts, it means that you've got to figure out a way to feel okay to say, I'm gonna promote myself, right? And now, I would tell you, you're the face of the vision. You're the face of the service, right? And I know in your heart, you want to help people. That's why we're all in this. But at the same time, people connect with people. And so it's your face, your voice, whether your voice is coming from your verbally, audibly, or through, typed on the keyboard. Be proud. Be proud of the message that you're communicating. All right. So that's the first thing, common mistake. Another huge common mistake is sharing it once and forgetting about it. You wrote an article, you shared it. Okay, I assume everybody saw the article that I posted, right? I mean, everybody saw it. I don't need to share it again, right? Everybody saw that I was featured in this article or this magazine. Big mistake. Big mistake. Relying solely on the media outlet to bring you traffic. I always tell people when I'm talking to them about Awaken Magazine, we do not present ourselves as a direct response marketing agency. So there shouldn't be an expectation that you're featured in the magazine or write an article and then all of a sudden all of these leads come flooding in. In large part, media is a branding mechanism. It is a way to brand yourself as a leader, as an authority. It's to increase know, like, and trust. Some leads can and will come in depending on the situation. But if you're looking for direct leads, the best strategy for that is going to be meta ads, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube ads. That's going to be your best strategy for leads. So you can't just rely on the media outlet to bring you traffic. You've got to then utilize the content and put it out there for your followers to see it and spread it as well. All right. So what you're going to learn today, number one, is promoting your feature with intention. When I say feature, anything where you've been featured in a book, a podcast, a magazine, an article, whether you wrote the article or somebody else wrote it about you. How to repurpose the content across multiple platforms. How to integrate the media throughout your brand. And then using it to attract clients, speaking gigs, and more, whatever it might be. All right, so that's what we're going to focus on today in lots of different angles. So I'm going to give you 10 strategies. All right, now you can take notes if you want to. You're going to have this video. If the recording comes out okay and I like it, I'll just post this as a recording. If not, I'll re-record the whole thing like I've done the last 2 months. And by the way, if you haven't watched the last 2 months of Awakened Business Masterclass, I did one 2 months ago on how to be an incredible podcast guest. That was very well received. That's on our YouTube channel. And also how to write magnetic articles. And that was well received as well. That's on our YouTube channel. So you can check out those. So strategy number one. Now remind you, been featured in a magazine cover, you've published an article, somebody mentioned you in an article, you've co-authored or authored a book, or you've received you've been on a podcast, or I think that's it. All those any of these different things. So This is getting ready to get featured. This is strategy number one. Before you've been featured, get ready. Make sure that you can be tagged on every platform. I will tell you that, and I will tell a lot of my examples are going to be from Awakened Magazine, because obviously that's what I do day in and day out, and that's what I see the opportunities there. We have a bunch of executive contributors that we feature in interviews and who write articles on a regular basis. And all of our contributors, they can contribute up to one article per month, and we tag them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. We do not use Threads currently. We do post on Pinterest. We do post on TikTok and on YouTube. So we do tag on TikTok as well. So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So many times we go to tag someone, which would then allow someone to click their name and discover their profile. And we find out, especially on Facebook, that they have permissions turned off because they got tired of their friends tagging them about, MLM things or something. So we can't tag them. Or a business account can't tag them. Same thing on LinkedIn. So that's number one, making sure. Now, if you say, well, Dave, how do I know if I can be tagged on the platform? So what I would suggest is to go to, and this is where we're going to have a little fun on the old World Wide Web. ChatGPT, I utilize oftentimes these days as my new Google. All right. So watch this. How can I ensure that my personal Facebook profile can be tagged by a business Facebook page? There you go. There's your instructions right there. Look at that. That took me 2 seconds. You know how long that would have taken me to go through Facebook's, like all their settings and be like, okay, well, let me figure this out. It took 2 seconds to find it right here on ChatGPT, right? How can I make sure that someone can tag me on LinkedIn? Boom. There's your instructions. All right. So this is an incredible use of ChatGPT. So that is number one. Make sure you can be tagged on every platform. And as a side note, you may even want to create accounts. Like we post on Twitter every day, and rarely is someone on Twitter, but it's just another way for people to be able to find you. Something to think about. Second thing in getting ready to be featured is ask for any promotional graphics. So if you are co-authoring a book, if you've been featured on a podcast, any of these things, you can just ask the media outlet, hey, are there any promotional graphics that I might be able to utilize? Now, all of our promotional graphics for contributors, they can just get it right when it's posted online. If they ask for it ahead of time, I totally would give it to them. But that's another thing to be asking for. That way you have them and you can utilize them however you want. Know the timing of the release and schedule your content schedule alongside your other content. So it's just being aware, like, oh, when is this going to come out? Simply just asking, and then going, okay, if that's going to come out on May 15th, am I going to post it that day? I want to be ready. I want to have like that on my calendar. I want to have my virtual assistant be ready to post it. And then the fourth is ask the media outlet if they collaborate on Instagram. So if you want to collaborate on Instagram, that's a good thing. If you're not interested in collaborating on Instagram, then don't ask. For some media outlets, like we love to collaborate on Instagram. Now, if you don't know what that means, I will show you. I had somebody today not know. So like this is our executive contributor of the week this week, Jim Offset. She's an Australian music producer who produces meditation music with certain frequencies. And so you'll notice right here, this other, so this is our account, Awakened Magazine, and then Jim Offset, which is her Instagram, and it's got right here. And so when they go to post, the media outlet, they can indicate, it's kind of like a tag. And I don't have I didn't want to try to figure out my phone interface on here, but actually, you know what? Maybe I could do it here. If I edit this, let's see here. Yep, there we go. Okay, you can see this, right? Where it says add collaborators. You ever see? Okay, so right, I could add another collaborator right here. So I could put in my own Instagram account. And so now there's two collaborators. So this would show up. Now, if a media outlet is doing this for you, it will show up as a notification on your Instagram account. Awaken Magazine has invited you to collaborate on this post, and you can either say yes or you can say no. Now, if you say yes, it means that this same post with the exact same caption shows up on your feed. The benefit is you're getting followers, like everybody's seeing it. It's a huge value. So I would encourage you to do that. Now, for some of you, you curate your feed very strongly. You want a certain aesthetic. And so you go, man, I don't want this crazy picture on my, Instagram feed. I have like all pink and I don't want orange on there. And so I would tell you, you can collaborate for a short period of time in order to get the maximum benefit. And then you can uncollaborate. You can I forgot the right word for it, but it's basically like removing. There you go. It's removing yourself. It's a very technical word. Removing yourself as a collaborator. And then, your name would not be featured up there anymore. And that's a way for it to be on your grid for a few days, and then you can take it off. And so, you can, if there is a media outlet that says, hey, I want to collaborate with you, one of the things you can say is, oh, I'm excited to collaborate. I may not be able to keep the post up permanently on my feed, but I'll definitely support it in stories or emails or whatever. Like if you have a grid that you're really passionate about having it look a certain way. Okay, so that's all about getting ready to be featured. All right, just preparing. Strategy number 2. Share it loud and proud. Now, I would encourage you to comment on every social media post where you are featured so that people can see you. Great example here. Let's see. Jim, we collaborated and a lot of people started commenting, all of like these people that are her followers. And so this person says yes and claps, right? And so she responds with, let's go. This person, she knows all these people because these are all of her followers. Hi, Chuck. Miss you. Right? She literally commented on every single comment. This is golden because she's creating interactivity. It's driving the algorithm to show it to more people. But I'm also suggesting that you would comment even on, like, let's just say it's posted on Facebook. And let's see, this is not Awakened. Let me go to Awaken. So if I were her, like here, I don't even know if she's on Facebook, but if she was like here on this, whoops, if she was on this Facebook post, that I would have had like her comment right here, right? And say, thanks so much for the great interview. I always do that. If I'm featured on a podcast, I'm going to go to every single place and go, thank you so much for the great interview. It was so wonderful to have the opportunity to be there. What does that do? Well, it shows my face, my name to the followers of that account, and they're more likely to follow me, connect my face and name to it. It's just a way to be active. It also drives up the post in terms of the algorithm to be shown to more people. The second is to repost or post on your own accounts on every platform, just using the same graphics. So I will tell you, I'm shocked by our executive contributors that don't do that regularly. So we have, let's see, let's just take it for example. So she collaborated on this. Well, now all she has to do is click this button right here and share it on her stories and then link to the article. Well, you go, well, how do you link to the article? How do you link to anything? Well, we just would go over to her article and we would grab this link right here, copy it, and we would go over to Instagram. Now, if you are saying, well, I don't like to do Instagram on my computer, I want to do it on my phone. Great. You know what I do all the time in order to get links? If I don't want to mess with going and getting the link on my phone, I come over here and then I grab this link Now, I'm working on a Mac, so I have the Messages app on my computer all the time. I just text it to myself. Just text it to myself. If you don't want to do that, email it to yourself. Boom, it's on your phone. You didn't have to open your phone and figure out the text, all that stuff. I text things to myself all the time. I text photos from my computer to my phone. I email stuff to myself. It's just a quick way to get information from one device to another. So now I've got this. I'm going to be posting this if I was Jim, I'd post this as a story and I would link to the article and say, click here, link to read it. I would go over to Facebook. I would find the magazine here, and then I would share. All you got to do, click share, and right now it's coming up. If I was this David Trotter, and I would type a caption, and I'm going to tell you what caption I would suggest that you type here in just a moment. Now, I'm sharing the image, but I can also drop the link right here in the middle so that people can go and watch it. Some people, it's a whole thing on the algorithm with Facebook that they don't like links in the middle of the post. Maybe you want to put the link in the comment and say link in first comment. That's fine if you want to take that strategy. Then on Twitter. So here I'm logged into my own Twitter account that I don't even really use that much, but here's the Awakened Magazine thing for tonight. Click this little repost button, and you can either repost it without adding something or click quote and add something. So can't wait to see you tonight, right? And always a call to action. Get the Zoom link at, right? Whatever it is, masterclass. Okay, boom, done, post. I just added it to Twitter. Okay. LinkedIn, same thing. I just share it on my LinkedIn. You can on LinkedIn, you can share it with or without a caption, just like I just mentioned with Twitter. The whole point is you have gotten the opportunity to be featured somewhere. And this is true not only about a magazine article, but if you're an Awakened executive contributor and you're writing an article every month, share about it. Every single month. Don't let it go by. You put the effort into writing that article, share about it. Now, if you say, well, how do I do that? All right, well, this is specifically for Awaken Magazine executive contributors. All right, so every week when articles come out, we do a carousel on Instagram. I'm going to take you through every platform. On this carousel is the image. So let's just say that you're Shelley Roberts and you wrote this article. You were tagged right here. All right. You were tagged in the list of the 4 articles that came out this last week. You were tagged. So you were notified of it. Regularly, I see executive contributors share this image on their stories. Okay. Because you come to this page and then you click share and go to stories. You don't want to share this image because that's not your article. You want to go to your article and then click share. And then this image will show up in your stories, the one with your name on it. And then when you click and share that on stories, you got to go over to your article and get the link. Now, we will post this image right here on Instagram stories as well. And it'll tag you and it'll have a link to the article. But if you've ever been on stories and you've reshared a story that links to you, Sonia, stories is both Facebook and Instagram, but I'm talking about Instagram at the moment. So stories are, if you're not familiar with stories, they are all of these. If you go up to any account and you click on this button, or if it's on your phone, it's all the top little circles on the top of your phone. These are stories right here. This is a story. Now, this is a reel as well, but we posted it, and I know this can get technical, and I can help break this down for you later, but I can't right now. Basically, reels are all these videos on Instagram, and you can also share them as stories. They make it as complicated as possible. I get it. So my point is that if you're resharing a story, the link that is on that story is not linkable. It is not, you can't click on it. So you have to re-add the link at the bottom. So for instance, There's a link right down here, right? You see where it says listen, watch, read now. If I reshared that, that would not be linkable. And so you need to go back to the article, find it, find the link, and add it to your story. If you want to just share the image to begin with, as I mentioned, you click on it on your phone, you navigate to your article, you grab the link to the article. All right. You would be doing this on your phone most likely. And then you share this and then put a link to the article in the story. I hope that makes sense. The point, what I'm trying to get across for executive contributors is that you don't share this image because it's like the main image. It's the front of the carousel. Nobody wants to see that. That's not your article. Stop doing that. No, it's like nobody wants that. I want you to share your put your name out there. That's the point. Okay. So then same thing on if you said, well, Dave, like for instance, I'll show you the all of these articles. This is what it looks like on Facebook because it's not a carousel, right? This is how we post it on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter. So you can share this, like if I came here and I was like, I'm sharing it to my own page. So it would be right, but it would share all of the images, which you can do that. But I'm going to show you as an executive contributor, 2 ways to get the image. Number 1, open it up, right click and hit save image. Just save it. And then you can upload the image directly. That's a way to get just your image. Okay. The other way to get just your image is in the email. This is the email that goes out on Monday that has all of the articles right here. Once again, right click on it, save image as. Now you've got the image for your article. Now you can post this image. And by the way, this image is perfectly sized for the new Instagram layout. And it also works fine with LinkedIn and, Pinterest and all of them. Just right click on it, save it. And now you can post this on Instagram on your feed. You can post it on Instagram stories. You can post it on Facebook. You can post it anywhere. You have it now. All right. Okay. So, but what I'm trying to communicate loud and proud is just if you create content, whether it's for Awakened Magazine or any other platform, when it comes out, share it. And what I would encourage you to do on Awakened Magazine is, because if you're putting out something monthly, my monthly column in Awakened Magazine just came out, right? It just came out. Well, I mean, we don't have columns, but it's your monthly column. And so people are like, what? Oh my gosh, Martin's got a monthly column in Awakened Magazine. This is awesome. I got to check it out. Okay. So you're just spreading the word. I would encourage you also to tag the media outlet, the interviewer, or other co-authors, anybody that you could tag who, especially in stories, that may be likely to re-share it. Okay. It also tells the media outlet, hey, I'm taking our relationship seriously. Thank you so much for featuring me. Thank you so much for getting the word out. And media outlets are like, oh, that's awesome. Like if I saw Debbie constantly sharing things from Awakened Magazine, you better believe like she's on my radar. You're adding goodwill. You're creating equity in the relationship with whatever media outlet you're working with. So tagging them lets them know that especially if you were featured on a podcast and you tag them. I've been in 2 summits recently, and I'm tagging the person who's doing the summit all the time. When those posts, they don't ask me to do that. I just want them to know, hey, look, I'm posting this for us. I'm posting. And it creates goodwill. It creates equity. All right. And then another strategy is to write a caption that expresses your perspective. Something behind the scenes, a lesson learned, gratitude, whatever it might be. So let's just say that you were Shelley Roberts, and we save this. So I'm just going to save this image. Let's see. I'm going to just save it on my desktop, and then I'm going to go over to my account on Facebook. And let's just say I was Shelley. So now all I've got to do is I'm going to upload this image. Sorry, I got to move all these boxes to be able to see it. Okay, now I've got the image. So, latest column in, watch, Awakened Magazine. Unlocking freedom for your greatest success and fulfillment. Okay, so this is one way to do it. Something like that. Another way it's like that's getting people's attention, and then you go, in this short monthly column, I share blah blah blah. Check it out at, and now we'll go grab the link and pop it in there. Okay, so that's one way to do it. Another way is an attention getting something or other. Feeling stuck in life. I can totally relate. And I shared all about my strategies, blah, 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 in my latest column in Awakened Magazine, in an article entitled blah, 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 blah. Okay, you get it? You got it. It's just promoting what you're doing. So that's how, that way you don't have to necessarily feature the other people's articles, although you can. It's just a way to grab that image. You could do this exact same thing on Instagram. Now, if you do it on Instagram, you could then put link in bio right here, because you can't link in Instagram. It's not going to link. It's just going to be this. Or you could do, say, check it out at, and if you are with an executive contributor in Awakened Magazine, so I would go Awakened Magazine. You could do this, Shelly-Roberts. That's her profile page name and link in bio. Or it could just be awakenedmagazine.com, link in bio. And I'll show you how to do that. That would be only right here. This is only on Instagram. All the other platforms, you can put the full link in the caption. Okay. Woo, I'm getting fired up. All right. So you could write, like, let's just say that you were featured on the magazine cover. Oh man, I've been dreaming of an opportunity to tell my story. Or one of the things that I learned, like, some of you on this call are co-authors in the Awakened Hearts book. And so you might want to, when one of the mini posts that you might put up about the book, you go, I thought writing my chapter on awakening was going to be a cinch. Wow. Did I have, lessons about how this transformed my mind, my mindset, my thoughts, blah, blah, blah. Lessons learned. Could be gratitude. Oh, I'm so thankful to be featured in this article, whatever it might be. Whatever caption just shares your perspective. All right, so that's the second strategy, is basically just share it loud and proud as far and wide on every single platform as possible. And then the other is integrate a call to action. So back to this post, let's just say below that link, you say, if this article resonates with you, or if you're seeking freedom in your life, DM me to chat about how I can help. That's it. That's a call to action. Or DM me to set up a free 15-minute discovery call, right? Or if this article resonates with you, check out my free ebook at the bottom of the article. Every article on Awakened Magazine, we want to have some sort of call to action. So you see here, take action, go deeper. In this case, she's just linking to her website. We really encourage you to write something that's like, check out my ebook, that's in direct alignment with the article. So it's a lead magnet where you're getting their email and then you're able to then serve them in some way, or book a free discovery call. That take action would be at the end of the article. My whole point is that you would integrate also some sort of call to action in the post, because people are like, what? You've been like, they're right there having more know, like, and trust in you, why not take advantage of that in that moment and call them to action at the same time? Man, I better hurry up. If we got 8 more, my goodness. Okay, strategy number 3, feature it on your social media. This is different than just sharing it. There are opportunities on every platform to either pin something or feature something. So pinning especially if you've been featured on a magazine cover or a book, any of these things, anything you can pin. You can pin it on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. Let me show you what that looks like. So on Instagram, this is, I think, one of the only executive contributors that we have that has done this. So Donna Bond, she pinned her magazine cover right here at the top of Instagram. It's actually the only thing she's pinned. And when I say pinned, meaning that she'll keep posting, but this magazine cover will stay at the top left-hand side of her grid, so that when a new person comes to her profile, they will immediately see that she was featured in Awakened magazine. And it's a boost in credibility. What? She's been featured in a magazine. This is amazing. I got to check it out. Click on it. Notice that there's no dates on the magazine, so it doesn't look old. Of course, I can't control that, like how many weeks are here, but to pin something, the way that you do that is, let's just see here. Let's go with this image of Shaman Durek. So you would, you know what? I figured it out. You can't pin on a computer, but if you open up this on your phone, you open up a post, click the 3 buttons on the right, on the upper right, wherever that is, and then it'll say pin this to your main grid. It'll say it right there. And what'll happen is then it'll stay right here. So you could do that and pin it for a short period of time, take it down, repin different things. It's just a way to show people new to your profile on Instagram that you have been featured in magazine or in a book or whatever it might be, and it boosts credibility. You can do the same thing on Instagram. I'm sorry, on Facebook. Look at this right here. Have you ever noticed, this is a personal profile, right here, this featured section in the left-hand side. So these are featured images right here, but you can edit featured, add a new, I don't know, group or something like that. So let's just say I wanted to do it on summits. So I'm going to grab that. I'm going to hit next. And now I'm adding, it's creating a collection. So featured in the media could be, ran out of characters, featured in media. And then click save. And now that is, and I can keep adding more items, but look right here. Now it's featured in media, featured right here at the top. You can do the exact same thing on a page, a business page. So I'm going to go over to the Awakened Magazine business page. I hope this is helpful for you guys. Lots of details. Okay, so right here, I don't have anything in add featured, but see that? This is my own Facebook page. You can add a different feature. It's the exact same thing. I could do it where it's like magazine covers and all this kind of stuff. And so it's just one more way to add something featured on your Facebook to stand out and pop. Same thing on Twitter. So let's see. If I go to, I don't even know what I have on here. Yep, here's a summit. So if I click this, pin to your profile, see that button right there? If I pin this, that means that this post will stay at the top of my Twitter, Twitter public profile, and everything else will appear below it. Once again, it's a way for you to highlight a way that you have been featured. Right here on LinkedIn. So there's a featured section. Look at this. I featured like these top articles right here. I just click the plus sign. You can add a post, a newsletter, an article, a link, a media. So I could add media where, let's just say I wanted to feature this, that I was in a summit. And so, that's an article. My apologies. And I could talk about, this is my latest, article, or I could put the title of the article. I could put the description. What happens is when people go to your LinkedIn account and they're scrolling through it, oh, look at this. If this was an interview about me, then it's like, well, this is interesting. I got to check these out. I put these on here because these are really famous people. Dr. Sue Morter wrote the Energy Codes. Joe Vitale was in The Secret. Marcy Shimoff was in The Secret. She's the #1 best-selling author. I'm wanting people to see, hey, we're interviewing top people here. So that's another way to be featured. I should say not to be featured. It's to feature your media appearances on social media. All right, featured image on your Facebook profile. We covered that. Featured it on LinkedIn. And then another way is to integrate it into your header image. So the images that you have here, you could have logos as seen in logo, featured in Awakened Magazine, and put the cover here. I put here on, this is YouTube, I put magazine covers on the top of the YouTube header. You could have this as logos of what you've been featured in, once again, or your magazine cover. Here, this is actually the Awakened Magazine Facebook account, and so we're doing a big event. So I'm put the event at the top of the Facebook header. I could put different magazine covers. For you and your business, you could have just a little tasteful as seen in and have these little logos down here of Awakened Magazine or certain podcasts that you've been featured on. Any way that you can add that could be helpful. Okay, so that is integrating it into the header images. So strategy number 1, get ready to be featured. Strategy number 2, spread it far and wide. I mean, post it on every single platform. And then strategy number 3 is feature it on your social media account. Strategy number 4 is feature it on your website. So as featured on or as featured in, I'll show you a very famous business consultant. Her name is Amy Porterfield. She's incredible. This is her website. And so she's earned over $120 million from her email list. And look right here. Boom, featured in Business Insider, Entrepreneur, Forbes, Fast Company, Mashable, MSNBC, Inc. 5000. You can put the names of Awakened Magazine, if you've been featured in that, other podcasts that you've been on, summits that you've been on. And if you don't know how to do this with logos, I am happy to tell you how to hire someone on Upwork or Fiverr at a very low cost, $10 an hour max, to help you dial in graphics for your website like this. So don't put up a graphic that's got Business Insider, that's got a clear background, and then a big white box around Entrepreneur, and then a pink box around Forbes. You ever seen somebody's website like that where it's like got all the crazy logos? Please don't do that. Talk to me. Let's get somebody to help you, clean those up and get them in a nice way. Even if people don't know the names of the business platforms that you've been on, let's just say you were on the Journey to My Soul podcast, and people are like, I never heard of that before. Doesn't matter. You've been on a podcast. You've got that logo there. It adds credibility. All right. It's a small boost, and you can add it to your website. You can add media logos, as I just mentioned. The magazine cover. Man, if I was on Awakened Magazine, I would have that on the, at least without a doubt, the About page, featured on Awakened Magazine. Click here for my interview. And it can be small, it can be tasteful, or it can be big and bold, whatever you want it to be. If you've been on podcast episodes, putting those podcast graphics on your website. I'll show you an example from one of our executive contributors, Whitney Freya. She teaches people how to, it's this creative painting process, and it's transformational. She has a website, her website page is just podcasts. It says podcast. And so she's got all of the podcasts, probably not all of them, that she's appeared on. And here, like, you click on it and it opens up to the episode on Apple Podcasts. Now, I would tell you, when you click on this, you want it to open a different browser, a different window. You don't want it to open in the same window, because now I'm navigating away from her website, which is a no-no. So it's just going right to those episodes. Actually, my old podcast is right here, Inspiration Rising. Look at that, episode 220 with Dave Trotter. How cool is that? So she links right to the episode on my old website, Inspiration Rising. Look at that right there. And so she is boosting credibility by having all of these podcasts that she's appeared on. What it also does is people that, if she's pitching herself on a podcast, they can go and listen and see, okay, she's legit. Like she can speak articulately, and it builds credibility. Also, let's just say that a potential client is a coaching client that you're going to want to work with, and they go to your website and they see that you've been featured on all these podcasts. Well, geez, I've never heard of Martin before, but Martin's been on 20 podcasts. Wow, he must be somebody. I got to get to know him. That's what it does psychologically. Okay. Next up, summit promo graphics. If you've been in just one summit, you could say as seen in, but if you've been in multiple summits, you can kind of utilize it in the same way as the logos or the podcast episodes. It builds credibility. The other option is to put the video player in your website. So if you've been on multiple podcasts that are videos or audio players, every single platform has the ability to embed the player. So right here, let's go to this interview with Elizabeth April. Right here, if I go to share, okay, and embed, now I've got the embed code right here. If you don't know how to embed this on your website, once again, I can hook you up with, we can find somebody to start working on your website at very low cost. If you don't have somebody already, I'm not going to give you a person. I'm going to show you how to find people. I want to teach you how to do that. And you can embed this right there on your site. Same thing with Spotify. If I go over to Spotify and go to the Awakened Magazine podcast, all right, so here's an episode. If I go to the three buttons, share, embed episode, I can do large size because we actually put the video, or I can change the size, and then I can grab the code right here, copy code. All right, there's the embed code, and I put it in the website, and I can have that player. And you can do that for every single platform, every single podcast that you've been on. You could put the Apple Podcasts or the Spotify players right on your website, and so that it shows people what you've been doing. You can do that tastefully on the bottom, kind of toward the bottom of your homepage, featured in, and have like a recent interview. Or it could have the magazine cover from Awakened Magazine and then linking over to the article. It could have the magazine cover and then the video right next to it. And people would be like, dang, look at that. This looks awesome. You could have an in the media page. You could have an interviews page. Whitney said she had a podcast page, but it could be called interviews. And it's all these places where you were interviewed. Okay. So that's strategy number 4, featuring the content on your website. You go to your now. You might say, well, Dave, I don't know if it really matters if I put these logos of things that nobody's ever even heard of. It does matter. It absolutely matters. Even if it boosts your credibility just a little bitty bit, it helps people, and it's compounding. It's compounding. Would you recommend doing this with past webinars? Sonia, are these webinars that you have been on, or webinars? Help me understand what you mean by webinars. Usually webinars are utilized to sell something. So give me some more clarity on that. You could also have a speaker page. Like if you were going to market yourself as a speaker, embedding the YouTube and audio players on those pages. Actually, you know what? I apologize. If you're a speaker page, showing where you've been featured in the media or on a magazine cover or podcast, that can help you book more speaking gigs, because it's just, once again, boosting credibility. Strategy number 5, integrating it into your bio. All right. So on the about page of your website, you can put, I give you the example of Awakened Magazine. This could be about anything. This could be featured on a podcast. It could be that you co-authored a book. It could be that you were mentioned in a magazine or anything. Marlou Harris was recently featured on the cover of Awakened Magazine and shared her journey of awakening on the Awakened podcast, inspiring listeners around the world. What? This is awesome. And you just link to it link to the episode, link to the page. You could have that on your about page, and it's just integrating it in very lightly. You could do this about anywhere you've been profiled. It's adding credibility. Okay, Sonia says, I've done 1 hour free webinars on various topics for extended education for UMass. At the end, they do pitch their programs. Yeah, so I would say, let's see. 1 hour free webinars. So I would say recent speaking opportunities maybe could be. You just have to figure out. I think it's definitely a yes, especially if they have the videos. Like if you had the videos that you could embed from YouTube, that would be one way to do it. Another is just to integrate that, Sonia, into your bio by saying, I've done multiple. I wouldn't call them webinars because they sound like it's a sales pitch. I would call it an education presentation for University of Massachusetts, for UMass. That feels a little bit more robust rather than, I wouldn't use the word webinar. But I think you definitely, and I'm happy to help talk you through more details on that. But I would definitely utilize it somehow. Okay. You can also integrate what I just said on the About page. You could put it in your podcast guest bio. So let's just say you have a one sheet, which I'll talk to you about in a minute, putting it in that document to say, you're recently featured on these podcast episodes, or recently featured, or recently co-authored a book. Anything that helps boost that credibility, put it in that podcast guest bio. Same thing with a summit speaker bio. If you're featured on a summit, and integrating it there. And then your social media bio. This is definitely an opportunity that a lot of people miss out on. And I'll show you how to do it on Instagram and LinkedIn. Facebook, it's pretty similar to an about page because Facebook, you can have a longer profile. Profile. So on an Instagram bio, usually you can get like 3 kind of lines. And if you use emojis, that's fine. But let's just say that your titles are spiritual coach, intuitive guide, and you are a co-author in the Awakened Hearts book. Co-author, Awakened Hearts. And then maybe this is like your tagline, helping you remember who you are. Okay? Another perspective on it would be to do it with the link, co-author of Awakened Hearts. Read my story. And then you got the down, and then you link to the book, or more likely, I would suggest you would link to your link tree. Now, if you're not familiar with a link tree, that's a particular platform, linktr.ee, I believe is the URL. And it allows you to have one link that has a pop-up with a lot of other links. So here's the Awakened Magazine link tree that if you go to Instagram, usually this link is in your Instagram profile, because on Instagram, you can only put in one link. And so the way around it is that you utilize Linktree or some other of its other competitors and put lots of links in a little pop-up. And this is ours. So you can say link in bio, and then they click on the Linktree, it opens up, and then there could be a link to your book. An example of a LinkedIn headline would be spiritual coach, intuitive mentor, co-author of Awakened Hearts, or recently featured in Awakened Magazine, recently featured in Time Magazine, whatever it is. It's just thinking about, how do I include something that boosts that credibility? Okay. Now let me show you that link tree real quick. Well, we're definitely going to go over tonight. My apologies. If you can't stay the entire time, feel free to watch the replay. Because there's definitely things that I feel like are important. So if you go to Instagram and you see right here this link, because we can only write Linktree / Awakened Magazine. When you click on that, it opens up this page, which is designed for the phone. Okay. So when it opens on the phone, we change this image every week based on the executive contributor of the week. They're right there at the top. And then the other articles are right below. All right. So you could have right here your book or the feature article that you were in. And you can change this up to be a small tab like this, or a big tab with a big photo. That's up to you. So that is the idea about integrating it into your bio. The other option is strategy number 6 is to highlight it in your own one sheet. Highlight it in your one sheet. A one sheet is a PDF or JPEG, most likely a PDF, that can be emailed out and or downloaded from your website, usually by a podcast host who you are pitching in order to be on their podcast, or by a meeting planner who you are pitching in order to be a speaker, or a summit host who you are pitching in order to be on their summit. So this one sheet, I just grabbed it off of Google, just Google results, because I saw, okay, as seen in. And these are the places, now these don't mean anything to me. Interior Design Society, BDO, LA Talk Radio, Discover a New Future. So these are speaking gigs that Regina Huber has done, as well as podcast platforms. People that she's reaching out to would know who the Interior Design Society is. To me, I look at it as logos and I go, oh, okay, she's done some stuff. That's a boost of credibility in and of itself. She's done some stuff. All right. If you know what it is, then it's an even bigger boost of credibility. Another option, this guy, Mark Willis, he put his books down here on the bottom. And real estate investing for women, secret of financial security, right? So putting your books down there. You could even, like, if let's just say this was a one sheet on being featured on a podcast, and you put like 9 different podcast little squares down here, the graphic for a podcast, like featured in, right? 3 rows of 3. It just shows that you have been featured on these podcasts. Okay. Desi says, can we hire someone to do this for us? Yeah, of course. Of course you can hire somebody to do this. This would primarily be a virtual assistant who would do a lot of these things that I'm talking about, which you can find on Upwork. And maybe I'll do a training on how to hire virtual assistants and how to hire graphic designers in an upcoming month training. That would probably be helpful. Okay, strategy number 7, integrate it into email marketing. So if you're sending out I would highly suggest that you build an email list without a doubt. Start building an email list if you don't have one already, and sending out a weekly, every other week, monthly email update, which could be an article that you've written. It could be your monthly column in Awakened magazine that you're highlighting. It could be recent podcasts that you've been on. It could be an inspirational note. And of course, at the bottom, it could be a call to action to book a sales call down. You don't really need to download a lead magnet because you've already got their email, but book a consultation call or buy your book or whatever it might be. But if you've been featured, if you've got an article in Awakened magazine, put it in that email. Here's my monthly column. Check it out. Put in 1 or 2 sentences. Put in the first paragraph of the article and say, click here to read more, and grab that image, the image that I showed you how to grab, put that in your email so that it ties in. They see the image, and then when they go to the article, they see the image and they're like, oh, this all ties in seamlessly. It all kind of goes together. The other thing you can do is integrate your media, any of these things we're talking about, into a nurture sequence. Meaning, if you have a lead magnet on your website where it's like 5 ways to have a better life, and somebody signs up for 5 ways to have a better life, they get instant access to the PDF download. And then let's just say you have 3 emails that are coming afterwards. That would be called a nurture sequence, where you're nurturing a relationship with them. You can say in that nurture sequence, I was recently featured in, and check it out, or check out my monthly column in, or, hey, if this resonates with you, I want to invite you to check out this article. Integrating it into your email marketing somehow is a powerful strategy. Strategy number 8, weave it into your brand story. When I say your brand story, I mean, how do you talk about who you are, who you serve, and what you do? You are talking about that. That is your brand story when you go on a podcast and you're a guest. you share that story, when you are having a conversation with somebody and you're talking about your business. Well, you can actually integrate the way that you were featured in the media in that conversation in a very tasteful, non promotional way. Okay. The key is to doing it with uh, finesse so that it doesn't feel like, hey, have you heard I was featured in, and everybody's like, okay, big deal. All right. So, podcast interview. Just a simple example. Big turning point in my journey was actually when I was invited to share my story on the Awakened podcast. And then I was featured on the cover as well. It was like this full circle moment, like the universe was saying, yeah, this path is yours. And it gave me confidence, right? You would say that in your own language, but you're integrating this moment where you were featured in the media or where you shared your story on, like I will sometimes tell people, even when I'm interviewing somebody on the Awakened Magazine podcast, I'll say, I was interviewing the other day, I was having a conversation with Sue Morter about da 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 da, and then I'll talk about something she said, and it's a way to boost my own credibility because I've interviewed Sue Morter and she's like a big deal in this whole world. It's interweaving just with finesse the things that would be a signal to people to go, I can trust them more. I want to work with them more. I like them, whatever it might be. Same thing is in your own podcast intro. Let's just say you have a podcast and you want to integrate. Hey, beautiful souls. My name is David Trotter. I'm a spiritual guide, coach, and co-author of Awakened Hearts. I was recently featured on the cover of Awakened Magazine, where I got a chance to share my own awakening story. Right? That might be too much because you're mentioning it multiple times. But my point is, just by dropping something in there, it helps people go, oh, well, that's cool. I got to check that out. Another is on a sales call or a discovery call. So you could say, many of my clients come to me when they're feeling stuck or disconnected, and that's something I deeply relate to. I actually shared my full story of transformation on the Awakened podcast and was featured on the cover. You can like reference how you had the chance to, let me say this again a different way. If you're talking to somebody on a sales call or a discovery call and you're talking about their own story of awakening, or let's just their own transformation story, like I totally get that. I actually had the chance to talk about my entire story of transformation recently on the Awakened podcast. If it might be helpful for you, I'm happy to send you a link. Because then what happens is if they listen to your feature on the Awakened Magazine podcast or whatever podcast is, and you're talking about how it has transformed, like how your life was transformed, they just got to know you. They spent 45 minutes with you. It's like a 45-minute sales introduction just by sharing your story. Super powerful. Two other ways that you can weave it into your brand story: casual conversation. If you're at a party, a networking event, recently I got a chance to share my story on or I got a chance to share my story in a chapter in this book. People will ask the question, especially if you just drop it like a breadcrumb, like you're not going on and on about it. Like, please don't be that person. But it's just like you drop a little breadcrumb and then they're like, what? Like, tell me more about that. I want to learn more about that. And they'll ask you, and then you can share on and on and on about it. And then let's just say it's a masterclass or a group call. Once again, same thing. It's just dropping it in, however would feel tasteful to you. So these are all ways that you can take the experiences that you've had, interweave it in a very casual way, and it perks up people's interest. Strategy number 9, repurpose the content. So now that you have been featured on a podcast, been featured on a video, been in a book, been on a magazine cover, you actually can take whatever image that platform has done and create something else out of it. I'll show you a couple of examples of this. You can create an image with a quote. So let's just say you were interviewed for Awakened Magazine. You can take your own quote from the interview and then put it on a graphic that matches your branding. Like you could even, let's just say you really are particular about your grids, look and feel, and branding. Create an image that has a quote from the conversation. And then the second image in the carousel is the image from the media platform that doesn't match your aesthetic, right? So you're hiding it behind the image that does match your aesthetic. That's one little trick that you can do. Create an audiogram with a soundbite. So let's just say that the podcast that you were on is just audio only. These are a little bit more technical things that you can utilize platforms. If you don't know what an audiogram is, type into ChatGPT, what is an audiogram and how do I create one? And it'll spit out a bunch of different platforms where you can take the audio and put it in and then take a graphic, like a graphic of the podcast or a graphic of your face, and then have a little squiggly line of when you're talking, have like the caption of the text come up where people can read it. That's one idea. If the platform that you are working with does not create an audiogram, you can create it for yourself. Create a reel with a video clip. So I got this image right here. This is Tony Ghazi. He channels these galactic praying mantis beings, and I saw these videos start popping up. He did not ask permission to do this, which, I mean, if I was some, I don't know, some corporate account, I might not be happy, but I was stoked. Look at this. This is his YouTube account. I did an interview with him months ago, and
the aliens have also visited you. Perhaps you don't remember, and you have been aboard the ship. You were in.
He said aliens had visited me, and I didn't even know. Right? This is a short that his team took from my video, put his this is our graphics, and he then repurposed it as a short on his YouTube. And if you look, he did that 1, 2, 3, 4 times. He got 4 pieces of content out of that interview. How awesome is that? Now that cost this one has 783 views. This has got 322, 140, 163. Now, obviously, he has a team, an individual, an editor who can do that. You can learn how to do that, or you can, hire somebody at $5 or $10 an hour that can bust that out for you. So that's another way to repurpose the content that's been created. You can make a reel where you share the media coverage. Now, I'll show you a little trick. I was doing this for a while, promotional videos for people that we feature on the platform, and I just grabbed an iPad. I don't even know if it's dead. So I put my phone on a tripod, all right here in my office. And then I put the magazine cover of, let's just say I was on a magazine cover. I take the image, I put it on the iPad. I hold it just like this, all right? Hey friends, Dave Trotter here. I'm so excited to let you know I was just featured on the cover of Awakened magazine. I talk all about how to do X, Y, and Z. It was an incredible interview. That guy, Dave Trotter, is freaking amazing. Oh my God. You got to check out this interview. So anyway, and then you would tell them where to check it out. That's another way to do it, just by holding up an iPad, showing them the article, the book, the podcast, the video, the magazine cover, whatever it might be. That's a way creatively to do it. If you don't have an iPad, you could just do a reel, like do it in your phone, talking about it, and then you can definitely take the graphic and have it pop up like over the top of it. Your phone has the ability to do that. Getting too excited. So that's a reel where you share the media coverage. Let's see. I think that might be the last bullet on this page. Yes, it is. Okay. Strategy number 10, reshare from time to time. So people see so much content. Honestly, they probably won't remember that you posted it previously. They just won't. they may not have even seen it the very first time that you posted it. So let's just say that you posted an article in Awakened Magazine 6 months ago. You can repost that article on a different platform. I don't mean the actual article. I mean on social media, taking the graphic, writing a caption. Check out my recent article. There are no dates on any of our articles. If you have been on Awakened Magazine and you look at this article, you will not find a date anywhere, nowhere at all. This article, she could share this 2 years from now and it'll look brand new to her followers. And I would even tell you that if you have a magazine cover from somewhere else or a graphic that has a date on it, I Photoshop it out. Like I would get rid of that date on, if you were on a magazine cover, some other magazine, I just get rid of the date and then you can share it. Now it might have it once they go to that page and they'll see the date. But my point is that you can reshare the content. And I would remind you to always share it with a call to action, because the point is not for them just to read the article or about you or think you're amazing. The point is to motivate them to take action, to connect with you, to download a lead magnet, to book a consultation call. You want people to take action in some way. DM you, start a DM conversation in some way so that you can be in dialogue with them and see what their problem is. And, you may, we are in so much conversation via email and DM with so many people with Awakened Magazine that they may not be ready to work with Awakened Magazine this week, but a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, they might. And same thing with you on your clients. Who knows how long? They're just kind of following along, seeing what you're up to. You're nice to them. You connect with them. You ask them how they're doing, and you just keep that conversation rolling and see where it goes. Okay, so I want to remind you why media matters and why sharing it matters is because it increases your credibility and it allows for connection with people. They read what you do, they listen to what you do, they watch what you do with media, and they're increasing in their know, like, and trust of you. It also is third-party validation that builds instant trust. And so why wouldn't you want to share it over and over and over again? Increases your perceived authority. Wow, this person, I don't know who they are. I have this all the time. I see somebody on the front of a magazine or they've written a book. Well, I don't know who they are, but they've done this. I should probably take a look because I see that there's some sort of perceived authority because they've been featured in some way. It makes it easier for ideal clients to say yes because they believe in you, and it gives you content that you can repurpose endlessly. Okay. Whew. There we go. This has been our longest session that I've ever done on these 1 hour sessions. I apologize, and you're welcome. One of the two. Okay. So what questions for the faithful few that are still hanging in here? Any questions that you have that I can answer? And you're welcome to unmute if you'd like, because there's only a few of us. Be happy to answer anything the best as I can. And if you don't have any questions, that's okay too. Kelly said, I had a client show up after she was on my newsletter for 9 years. Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. Okay, well, good. Well, if you have questions that come up after this, feel free to email me, text me, reach out. I'm happy to help if I can. And Sonia, so many questions, I can't narrow them down. You got one you want to pop off here? Sonia?
Actually, I can't even formulate it properly, but maybe you can help me. I was actually interviewed for a grief summit, and it's going to be released next week. And so there's a part of me that's saying, okay, well, that ship sailed. I missed it. But really, just if you had less than a week, what would be the best way to maximize the time? She actually did send an email and provide promotional graphics. I just don't know what to do with them.
Yeah. So most summit hosts would generally expect you to promote the summit. That was a pretty strong expectation. And so at this point, you have social media. What social media platforms do you have?
I have Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube and Substack.
Okay. What about LinkedIn?
Oh, I have LinkedIn. Yes.
Okay, great.
That's actually
So you can take, and did she give you an affiliate link or just the main link for people to sign up for the summit?
She gave graphics and links to sign up, I believe. Oh no, there's an affiliate link. Yes, it is an affiliate link.
Yeah. And she probably also gave you sample social media posts as well, probably the actual text.
She probably did.
Yeah. So you would want to find those ASAP and then like tomorrow morning, just copy at the minimum, copy one. She probably gave you 3 to 5 different social media posts that you could do. You'd copy one of them that most resonates with you. If it doesn't sound like you, just reword it. Just make it sound like you or add something that makes it sound like you. Like I'm so honored to be featured in this upcoming summit on grief. If you are going through grief, I would invite you to da 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 da, and then put the link. And I would do that on every single platform that you could. And I would do that definitely tomorrow. And then it starts what, a week from tomorrow?
Yeah, a week from today.
A week
Or
from today,
a week
Thursday.
from yesterday, actually. It's April 1st.
Okay, cool. So then I would probably it depends on how much you want to promote it, but I would do it tomorrow and then I would do it like the day before the event, perhaps. And then if you wanted to, you could even do it today, like, today. And you could even do a screenshot of the screen of you, speaking, like meaning like your videos on the screen and you screenshot it and then post that. That's one kind of fun way to show people that you were doing the summit. But yeah, so I would do it at least twice, especially to honor that individual who invited you to be a part of it. And then, do you have an email list as well?
I do have an email list. Yeah. And her request was to send one email out to the list, and then she gave all the socials. So I was actually waiting because I thought that it was too far away, that it needed to be closer. But yeah, so now that I hear that though, I'll just do it tomorrow and put it up.
Yeah. It's definitely not too close or not too early. Generally, summits, they can promote anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks ahead of time. Generally, probably 2 to 3 weeks is when most people promote. Yeah. And so with the email, you could do the same thing, just grab the graphic. And so you did a graphic of all the speakers and one with just you and her or him or whoever it is. Yeah. And so I would utilize the one that had, like, I would put the one up top that had me on it primarily, and then I would put the one down below at the bottom of the email that had everybody on it. And then put the text, kind of in between there. Yeah. Yeah. So definitely not too late. I would definitely jump in on that. Ava, what's going on?
If this question you don't think pertains to the group, let me know and I can email you. But I was wondering about what you have to say about finding support on Upwork. It's something we've tried to do on and off the last year or two, and we just have a hard time finding, I guess, quality support. So I was just wondering if you had like a quick tip or anything for that direction.
Yeah. So I think it would be good for me to do a training on that. I would say the more clear you are on what you want up front, saying what you want, then you have all the people. And so for those of you who don't know, Upwork.com is a place where you can go to hire people from around the globe to pretty much do anything. And so I actually have hired, I think, almost our entire team off of Upwork that works with Awaken. So like I've got like 5 or 6 people that work for me with Awaken, and some are full-time and some are part-time. And so number one, being clear on what you want, on clearly writing expectations. 2, showing them like you guys have a certain brand aesthetic that you could upload those images as part of that or link to it and say, this is kind of what we're looking for, so that people know ahead of time. And then once you get the applications, I just look through all of their images and go, is there anything that looks similar, like that they could actually do? Like, I see how they could pull this off. I need to see the examples of it. That's number one. Then Number two, after I see somebody, I do a Zoom interview. I never hire somebody generally without doing a Zoom interview because I want to be able to talk to them. I want to make sure that they can speak fluent English and that we have a rapport, that I feel like there's a connection there. And so then I get on and I do that. And then I give them a sample project, just a sample project. Hey, can you do this? And I recognize that it's going to take them a little bit longer to do that sample project because we haven't worked together, and I will tell them I want three options, three distinct, if you're talking graphic design. Are you talking graphic design or are you talking about other things?
Graphic design, we would love to outsource help for making reels. So kind of anything like social media. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to.
I love the three examples because that's another thing. The time delays when you're working with people remotely, having to wait for the time difference or email communication. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I try to get them on Zoom or WhatsApp really quick so that I can have face-to-face audio conversation. I don't want to do things via email in the beginning because it's just, it's too challenging, too difficult. So yeah, that would be the case. And then really the key, the absolute key is giving them examples of what you want. So if you don't have it for your own business, go find the exact aesthetic somewhere else and say, I want this aesthetic. I want this, the more you can be clear, I want this font, I want this aesthetic, I want this layout. Now, you might say, well, I'm not good at that. Okay, well, then it's going to take you longer. The less clear you are, the longer it's going to take on getting support with that. The more clear you are, the quicker it'll be. And if you like a reel, or there are certain styles of reels out right now. So find a style that you like and go, I want you to replicate this style. And just tell them, all right, here's the standard, and then see if they can do it. And you're just not entering into a long-term deal. You're an hourly rate. And you can tell them, I've got, and you can even say, how many hours should we allocate for this particular, test project? Can we allocate 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, whatever it is, so that you tell them, okay, that's the limit. Then the limit is 3 hours. So okay, I'm only paying $15 or I'm only paying $30 to kind of do this test. And yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Is that helpful?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, cool. Any other questions arising?
One quick question.
Yeah, Kelly.
Hi. Thank you, by the way. Amazing as usual. It doesn't matter how old or how long ago being featured or on a podcast or anything like that, does it?
I don't think so. I do know, we obviously we don't have dates on our content because we have found that when people look at a magazine, they do discount it as being irrelevant. I would just say that there is something in the human brain that does tend to discount things that are a bit older. And so I would suggest that if you had newer things to more share the newer, content. But if you don't, share what you have.
Yeah. I mean, I was on Gaia TV, so it was quite significant.
Mm-hmm. And how long ago was that?
10 years ago.
Yeah.
So I've been out there for a long time on that platform.
Yeah. So, I mean, as seen on Gaia, I'd be using that anywhere and everywhere.
Can you believe I have the video clip, but I've never done the as seen one.
Yeah. I mean, I would put that anywhere and everywhere for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you.
And then you don't have to, was it one episode or was it a whole show or what was it?
No, it was 2 episodes, two different subjects, 1 episode each. Yeah.
Yeah. And so and when people ask, oh, what were you on? I would not say, oh, well, it was 10 years ago. And
no. Yeah. No.
I was on
George Norrie, good, well-known person, George Norrie, Beyond Belief.
Yeah. I was on Beyond Belief with George Norrie. Wow, this is amazing. Where can I find it? Oh, let me send you the link. I would never have mentioned anything around date at all.
Right.
Yeah, no need.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. It's great. Okay, well, it's great to be with you guys, and I hope this was a benefit. And we'll do something again next month on the topic. And if there are people that you think this would benefit in terms of this training, it'll be up on our YouTube in the next couple of days. I'll send out a replay to everybody, and then you can share it with a friend if it's helpful for them. All right. Good to be with you guys. Have a great night, and we'll see you soon. Okay.